Hey, what up, fam? It's Norm, and we are going to do a special song review, video review episode. Josh Kriese just dropped the video for Soli Deo Gloria today, and so I haven't seen it, and this is one of the first times I actually get to do a video reaction video review kind of thing without having seen it. I've heard the song many times, love it. Been bumping the album for the past week since it dropped, and I love it. I listened to the pastor perspective once. I don't listen to it every time I go through. It's 16 minutes. Not something you want to listen to every single time, but it's good. It was a pretty cool interaction between Josh and his pastor, and just kind of cool to have that pastor perspective in there. Probably not something you're going to want to listen to every single time you go through the album, but you know it is cool, and it's cool to listen to every so often. Once or twice, I'll hit it if I'm doing something and I've got the headphones in and I get it and I don't want to just fast forward past it. I'll listen to it, and it's cool. So, but the whole album is good. Love the Solis cipher. So again, get the album, go out there, pick it up. Phenomenal album. Support Josh. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. So I'm excited to review the video for Soli Deo Gloria. And to see it for the first time right now. So we're going to watch it first all the way through, and then I'll shrink it down and we'll do what we do and kind of just react to it, pick it apart, things we like, things we don't like. And so without any further ado, let us check out Josh Kriese, Soli Deo Gloria.
Yeah, listen, every herd, every beast, every bird, every tree, all the land and the sea, bear witness to every word that he speaks. When he tells the water swallow the land, it obeyed the very second God gave the demand. When Moses spoke in Korah, then disobeyed the command, God spoke and made the ground beneath him break and expand. Man, swallowed by nothing but dark. Or what about when he struck Uzzah just for touching the ark? Or Ananias and Sapphira killed while sitting in church? The thoughts that ought to emerge as he's totally set apart. Man, too pure for beholding my wicked ways. Bones broken, arms folded, I sit and pray. Cause I know that soon there will come a day when everybody will bow in order to give him praise. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, the glory of God alone. Yeah. Everybody knows the truth, we just suppress it. It's not a matter of no answer to our questions. That's why his love is always met with aggression, and his commands brushed off like a suggestion. We neglected his affection and redemption, and rejected any conception of election. Our sin debt must be paid by pure perfection. Yet we don't see the glory in his condescension, in his active pursuit of us from eternity. How he knows the sheep with absolute certainty. How he died the death that we all deserve to see. And every sinner he chooses, he saves them perfectly. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When they ask us why somebody had to die, only reply, the glory Listen, as we all stand before the throne up in heaven, what a terrifying thought to be in the midst of his presence. It's only through the Son that I am loved and accepted, because his blood covered every stain, every blemish. On that day, we'll be pronounced as victorious saints, and all to the praise of his glorious grace. And when creation all falls before him, offering praise, I'll follow suit in pursuit of our conquering King. There won't be any attraction to sin, nothing left in our presence that could distract us from him. So haste the day when this wicked flesh is at rest and mortified, because God is most glorified when our satisfaction's in him. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his Son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, for the glory of God alone. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his Son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, for the glory of God alone.
From beginning to end, in the Bible, nothing is more ultimate in the mind and heart of God than the glory of God. The beauty of God, the radiance of his perfections. Those would be my synonyms for glory. Beauty, the radiance, the outstreaming of the panorama and the fullness of his perfections as it streams out. That is the ultimate allegiance and commitment in the mind and heart of God. Everywhere you look, never see an exception to this. You read the whole Bible, and every place that God makes explicit the ultimate reason for why he's doing what he's doing, the answer is always and without exception the same. For my glory, or for my name. We are predestined for his glory. Ephesians 1:6. We are created for his glory. Isaiah 43:7. We are elected for his glory. Jeremiah 13:11. He saved his people from Egypt for his glory. Psalm 106:8. He rescued from the exile. Isaiah 48:9-11 for his glory. He sent Christ into the world so that the Gentiles would praise God for the glory of his mercy. Romans 15:9. He commands his people, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to my glory. 1 Corinthians 10:31. He will send Jesus a second time so that the redeemed will marvel at his glory. 2 Thessalonians 1:9. And therefore, the mission of the church is declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples. It is so crystal clear, if you read the Bible straight through, asking the question, what is the ultimate value in the mind and heart of God? It is God and his great glory. That's going to affect your preaching to the depths if you get this, if you feel this, if you sense the wonder of it. There are 100 more places we could go to that are driving us back up into God's ultimate allegiance to God. Nothing affects preaching more deeply than to be struck almost speechless. Almost. By the passion of God for the glory of God.
All right. So, there you go. There it is. Josh Kriese, and yeah, I finally figured out how to pronounce his last name. Listening to the pastor perspective was where I figured out how to pronounce Josh's last name. I've been calling him Kriese the whole time because, I mean, I chat with the dude on Facebook and stuff, but, Facebook, it's written. So you just gotta make up. So I probably butcher half of the people I know on Facebook's names just because I, haven't met them personally, haven't talked to them and got pronunciation until I bought the album and got the proper pronunciation of his name. So we're going to back this up. Yeah. Oops. Stop. We're not ready to go yet. We're going to back it up, start it over, and check this thing out. And we're just going to talk about it. So, again, you're dealing with an amateur here, but amateurs built the ark. So here we go. So I mean, we can start right here. We can start with this opening picture. I loved this, just the beginning of it. So I mean, I love this song. This song is probably my favorite song on the album. If I were to rank the songs on the album from my favorite to my least favorite, and I mean to say my least favorite, every single one of these songs I love. This is one of those albums where I would play it and never skip a song. If I could, just for my own personal preference, put them in a different order of my favorite to the one that I like but is the bottom of my list, I would go this one, The Glory of God Alone, the Sola Cipher, Sola Scriptura, and then the other three solas. I mean, they're all equal. They're great. I loved them. But my three favorite songs, the three songs that I mean, when I got the album and I played it through, and this is the way I do most albums, I'll hit a song that I really like and I'll back it up. And I had heard all of these songs except for the Sola Cipher before the album dropped. Josh hit me with some links and stuff and asked me to give him some feedback and so on, which I'm honored. I mean, we just know each other from Facebook. So the fact that this brother came to me and said, "Hey, listen to this and give me some feedback," I was really honored to do that, and even more so honored to do this, just to to break this stuff down. So again, this is my favorite song on the album, and this opening scene right here. I mean, brother lives in Canada, so yeah, dudes can rap in Canada. I was surprised too. But so he's in God's country. There's so many places. I mean, I live in Utah, so we've got some phenomenal stuff too. But nothing to this magnitude. To see this, and again, just to have something that blows out like this and just hits you immediately with the glory of God is the heavens declare the glory of his hands, and stuff like this declares the glory of God's hands. So all right, so let's jump in and go through.
Yeah. Listen, every herd, every beast, every bird, every tree, all the land and the sea bear witness to every word that he speaks. When he tells the water swallow the land, it obeyed the very second God gave the demand.
All right. I loved this cross part of it. I have a wooden cross that was made for me from a buddy that I've used off and on for years when doing evangelism and stuff like that at different times and at different places. It's kind of been sitting for a long time. And this kind of made me think about it and the fact that I'd like to take it and put it out where it can be seen again. So I used to carry it around in the back of my truck all the time, um, and got some good reactions and got some bad reactions. So that was the first thing I thought of with the cross. The words of this song, this first verse, and I'm gonna finish it out here in a second, but um, just the fact that again we're talking about the glory of God alone, and and the fact that he breaks it down into starting out with the herds and the birds and the beasts of the land, um, and then talking about the water, and it obeyed the very second God gave the command. Um, and then he's going to go on, and I'm going to let this first verse finish now, and then I'll just break it down.
When Moses spoke in Korah, then disobeyed the command, God spoke and made the ground beneath him break and expand. Man, swallowed by nothing but dark. Or what about when he struck Uzzah just for touching the ark? Or Ananias and Sapphira killed while sitting in church? The thoughts that ought to emerge as he's totally set apart. Man, too pure for beholding my wicked ways. Bones broken, arms folded, I sit and pray. Cause I know that soon there will come a day when everybody will bow in order to give him praise.
Okay, I want to hit before he goes into the chorus. Or into the hook. I liked this first verse because, again, a lot of times when we're thinking about the glory of God, we're always just thinking about the good stuff. And we don't always, we think of the glory of God, and a lot of times we think, the miracles, the power, just the displays of his majesty is what we think about most of the times when we think about his glory. Because, I mean, to be real, I mean, the majority of the church right now, I mean, we're reformed, but the majority of the church that is out there is living in a Pentecostal kind of worldview, church view, I guess you would call it. And so when they talk about glory, they're talking about, I mean, it brings to mind for a lot of people false teachers and, glory clouds and gold dust and all this stuff, but glory, most people think about it's the big stuff. And so, I mean, he's breaking it down into, every little thing that declares God's glory, the animals, the birds, the fact that all of these, what we would look at as tragedies, the water swallowing up the earth, the flood, when Noah, when Moses spoke and Korah was swallowed up by the earth. All these things. Uzzah, who being struck down, but just because he touched the ark, and Ananias and Sapphira coming in and lying to the Holy Spirit, and being struck dead immediately. These are all things that bring glory to God as well. And these are the things we don't think of. So I really appreciated that he hit it right in the first verse. He hit the stuff, and I mean, he didn't take the first verse and go the route that I probably would have gone and done the big stuff. The resurrection, the parting the sea, Elijah taken up into the sky in chariots of fire. These things. Those are the things that I would have probably gone to, and I loved the fact that Josh hit these things first, these things that we wouldn't normally consider the glory of God.
Glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's the light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, the glory of God alone.
Again, so we get all these things that he talks about, and I'm reading the lyrics. That's what I'm looking down at, just so I can, I mean, I haven't memorized the song yet. I probably will soon. The amount of play that it's gotten, leave it to Josh to bump Ivy out of out of my playlist for a little while. And I mean, Ivy's Ivy's my homie, and that's where I go. That's my go-to. That's my favorite artist, and Josh is creeping up in that top 10 list. And after this, I have to sit down and look at my top five, and Josh may be there. Honestly, um, I mean, I hate to bump anybody out of my top five. I want to have, it's like MySpace where it was the top four and then it had to keep expanding because all your friends were like, how come I'm not in your top four anymore? Um, I don't want to bump anybody out of my top five, so now I just have to talk about my top 10. And Josh is there, definitely. So, but, there's never be a day when he's not enthroned. I mean, stop and think about these things, about God's glory. He's made known to us through his Son. He's shown that we're not alone. He's the light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, our only reply is for the glory of God alone. Again, I mean, this ties us into the sovereignty issue. This ties us into all of those things. When anything that we are questioned about, anything we are talking about, it is for the glory of God alone.
Yeah. Everybody knows the truth, we just suppress it. It's not a matter of no answer to our questions. That's why his love is always met with aggression, and his commands brushed off like a suggestion. We neglected his affection and redemption, and rejected any conception of election. Our sin debt must be paid by pure perfection, yet we don't see the glory in his condescension. In his active pursuit of us from eternity, how he knows the sheep with absolute certainty, how he died the death that we all deserve to see, and every sinner he chooses, he saves them perfectly. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his Son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's the light in the dark that we follow home. When they ask us why somebody had to die, our only reply is for the glory of God alone.
All right. So, again, I mean, we don't even have to break down all the words, but again, he's talking about everyone knows the truth, we just suppress it. And he talks about election. He's talking about our sin debt. He talks about all these things, how he knows the sheep. He died the death that we all deserve to see. Again, this is where we see, I mean, this is ultimately the glory of God in the death and resurrection of Christ and our salvation. Again, God is going to receive glory for those that he punishes for their sin because he's just, but God is also going to receive far greater glory for the people that he saved through the death of Christ. And so here we've got the gospel lined up in here, and then he jumps back into the hook. But we have the beginning, and the next verses we're going to see much more of the gospel presented. And then, when we get to be glorified with him. So he's going to hit that in the next verse. One of the things I'm thinking about, and it's so hard to criticize my friend, but I did appreciate that there are different points in time where we just cut to the scenery. Josh, my brother, you've got a lot of things that you do in your videos that you do the same in every video. And we're creatures of habit. I mean, if you know preachers do the same thing with their hands when they're preaching. I remember I used to tease the pastors that I've had in the past about how one guy did his hands like this all the time as he was preaching, and then one guy was doing this stuff and did his hands and would do this and he'd do this, and Josh, you do this. All of your videos, you find you're doing the same stuff with your hands. Just as a somebody who loves to do theater and stuff like that, learn what your ticks are, your tells are, whatever you want to call them, and learn to overcome them. I actually, and it's just because I know I see you do it in all your videos. I think it can become distracting. I don't think, and it's just for me because I watch them a lot. And so I recognize them now. And if we ever meet at a conference or whatever in the future, I'm probably going to clown you for them, dude. Just to be completely honest, because that's the kind of dude I am. So, but I did appreciate that you jumped to scenery where it's just the scenery, and it kind of breaks it up, because in a lot of your other videos, it's you through the whole thing, which, I mean, you're the artist, man. You're the one, that is giving the glory to God, giving the glory to the one that made you dope, kind of thing, like Goya. So I mean, you're there, and I appreciate it, and I love it. Just a few things that as you do videos in the future, and the more you make music and stuff like that, be aware of those things, because the repetitiveness of it can be a distraction. So that would be my only critique on something like that. Man, I love that scenery, though. Just all these pictures of, I mean, I'm assuming this is all up in Canada.
Listen, as we all stand before the throne up in heaven, what a terrifying thought to be in the midst of his presence. It's only through the Son that I am loved and accepted, because his blood covered every stain, every blemish. On that day, we'll be pronounced as victorious saints, and all to the praise of his glorious grace. And when creation all falls before him, offering praise, I'll follow suit in pursuit of our conquering King. There won't be any attraction to sin, nothing left in our presence that could distract us from him. So haste the day when this wicked flesh is arrested, mortified, because God is most glorified when our satisfaction's in him. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his Son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, it's for the glory of God alone. It's for the glory of God alone. There'll never be a day when he's not enthroned. He's made known to us through his Son, shown us that he's the one, the only way that our God is known. He's shown us we're not alone. He's a light in the dark that we follow home. When we're asked why somebody had to die, only reply, it's for the glory of God alone.
From beginning to end, in the Bible, nothing is more ultimate in the mind and heart of God than the glory of God. The beauty of God, the radiance of his perfections. Those would be my synonyms for glory. Beauty, the radiance, the outstreaming of the panorama and the fullness of his perfections as it streams out. That is the ultimate allegiance and commitment in the mind and heart of God. Everywhere you look, never see an exception to this. You read the whole Bible, and every place that God makes explicit the ultimate reason for why he's doing what he's doing, the answer is always and without exception the same. For my glory, or for my name. We are predestined for his glory. Ephesians 1:6. We are created for his glory. Isaiah 43:7. We are elected for his glory. Jeremiah 13:11. He saved his people from Egypt for his glory. Psalm 106:8. He rescued from the exile. Isaiah 48:9-11 for his glory. He sent Christ into the world so that the Gentiles would praise God for the glory of his mercy. Romans 15:9. He commands his people, whether you eat or drink or whatever you do all to my glory. 1 Corinthians 10:31. He will send Jesus a second time so that the redeemed will marvel at his glory. 2 Thessalonians 1:9. And therefore, the mission of the church is declare his glory among the nations, his marvelous works among all the peoples. It is so so crystal clear if you read the Bible straight through, asking the question, what is the ultimate value in the mind and heart of God? It is God and his great glory. That's going to affect your preaching to the depths if you get this, if you feel this, if you sense the wonder of it. There are 100 more places we could go to that are driving us back up into God's ultimate allegiance to God. Nothing affects preaching more deeply than to be struck almost speechless. Almost. By the passion of God for the glory of God.
All right, so there we go. That's Josh Kriese's Soli Deo Gloria, to the glory of God alone. The preacher at the end, I'm not sure who it was. I'm assuming it sounds like Piper to me, a little bit, but it could be I mean, it could be a number of people. I know it wasn't Washer. I mean, there are a lot of these. Without, was looking through trying to find who it was, and I know somewhere he's got each of the preachers that he uses. I know one of the songs he's got, I believe he's got Bodie Balcom in it. One I think is Paul Washer. So this one, it's either Piper or MacArthur. It sounds like to me. It could be Lawson. I don't know, but just that last little clip was. I mean, I love the fact that it's like a full 3 minutes. I mean, so there's almost as much preaching in that video as there is rap, which is cool. You know, a lot of people would say initially when I first heard it, I was like, man, you could cut a little bit of that out. And then the more I listened to the preacher at the end, I'm like, well, what do you take out of that? I mean, it's like trying to decide, you know, like the hymn, I know that my Redeemer lives. It has like 13 verses to it. I mean, and which ones do you take out, you know? So you just sing for an hour, kind of thing. So, yeah, the first time I heard it, I really did think that it was a little long, but the more and more I listened to it and the more I listened to that preaching at the end, I'm like, man, there's nothing that I would have cut out of that. And so you have to have it all there. So there it is. Josh Kriese, you know, check out the video. I'll put the link to the video in here. I'll put a link to where you can buy the album. Go out and cop this dude's album, man. I can't stress it enough. Just how much I mean, with the way streaming and stuff like that is right now, a lot of these guys are not making the money that used to be able to be made. And so, I mean, these guys have, I mean, if we want to have good music like this, lyrical theology, quality music, we need to be supporting these guys so they can make this their job, and not have to, you know, be bivocational artists kind of thing and have to divide their time. You know, I mean, it's enough that all of these dudes most of these dudes I listen to have families. You know, they've got kids. They're you know, dealing with that, and so, I mean, that's their primary ministry, and I know all of them would love to be able to make this their secondary thing, but a lot of them, before their art and their music, they've got to work. So I can't stress enough. Go out and support these guys. You know, I mean, my budget is full up on Patreon for the 3 that I support. And unfortunately, Josh isn't one of those. But man, he's got a few different tiers in there that you can hit. Support him on Patreon. Give him a monthly donation to help support the music. This is good music. I can't say it enough. I mean, it's not like these dudes are, you know, some dude off the street just throwing stuff together. You know, again, I mean, uh, rap came. I mean, rap started. It was two turntables and a microphone. You know, and so you know, it doesn't take. I mean, it does take a lot, but it doesn't take a whole lot. I mean, none of these dudes are looking to get rich. They just want to be able to glorify God with the talent that He's given them and be able to make and produce good music. I mean, they could all just go in their room and put out some stuff, some mixtape kind of quality stuff that, I mean, we loved growing up, but you know, we want to hear good quality produced music and so on. So we got to support them. So go out, buy Josh's album, support him if you can. You know, every time I jump onto Patreon, I'm like, I mean, where can I fudge a little bit on some of this other stuff? Still maintain my tiers and give to Josh, and more than likely, I think I can do it. I can probably free up a couple of things in a couple of areas. Don't tell my other guys, and hook him up. So, I mean, if I'm going to ask you to do it, I should put my money where my mouth is, right? And at least, you know, hit $5 a month to my brother here. So this video has gone far longer than I expected it to, but I hope you guys like it. I hope you love the song as much as I do, and go check out his album. And you know, and then while you're on, you know, pick it up on Bandcamp, and while you're there, go check out the other dudes that are dropping albums out there. Ivy's always putting out his stuff, and he puts it out for free. And I'm gonna tell you, if it's there for free, leave a tip, leave something, give a donation, even if it's only a couple of bucks. Give them something. Even though they're giving it for free. I mean, Ivy is the most generous dude I know. I mean, he's always wanting to give his stuff for free, and I'm like, dude, I want to spend my dollars to support the stuff that I love. So hit him up. You know, Bridge B, Ivy, you know, all these guys that are out there on Bandcamp. You can hit them all at one time, and then, you know, look out at Amazon, and Omri's getting ready to drop an album. Kurt Allen's getting ready to drop another album. Pick up Jackie Hill Perry. Again, I need to shut up and just let y'all go buy this music. So thanks for listening. Thanks for listening to Josh's album. Hit him up on Facebook, on Twitter. Let him know how much you love it. And as always, preach the gospel at all times. Use words. They're necessary. And until next time, Soli Deo Gloria.